They tell you the wind is only moving air, a motion of the atmosphere, a thing of science. But science cannot explain the sound it makes when it passes through the ancient hollow stones. It cannot explain the feeling that rises on your skin just before the first gust of a storm. A feeling of anticipation, as if something is arriving. And science, most of all, cannot explain the voices. We are not speaking of the howl, not the rattle of a loose shutter or the whistle through a keyhole. We are speaking of the sound beneath the sound, a murmur, so quiet it is almost a memory. You hear it best in the high places, the lonely peaks, the vast empty plains at twilight, the shores where the ocean has been whispering to the land for 1,000,000 years. In these places, the wind is not just passing by, it is passing through. The oldest legends say that the wind is the breath of the world, and that it never forgets. It is the world's oldest traveler, and like all travelers, it collects stories. It was there, in the dust of the first battlefield, and it carried away the final whispered oath of the fallen. It was there, in the silent moonlit garden, and it wrapped itself around the first secret kiss. It holds the melody of a lullaby, sung in a language that no one on earth still speaks. It holds the sudden, sharp cry of a civilization that saw its end in fire and water. They say that when a person dies, their last breath does not simply vanish. It is gathered. It is taken up by the wind, added to the great invisible library of the air. And the wind, it remembers. Sometimes, when it blows from the east, it brings the scent of spices from a market that is now only dust. Sometimes, when it comes from the north, it is cold with the silence of a forgotten ice-bound kingdom. And sometimes, it brings the voices. You may be walking, and a sudden gust will circle you. With it, a feeling, a profound, unexplainable sadness that is not your own. Or a moment of courage, a sudden, clear thought, a solution to a problem whispered in a voice you almost recognize. The ancients knew this. They built their temples in high, windy places, not to fight the wind, but to listen to it. They knew that to stand in the path of the old wind was to stand in the presence of all who had come before. We, in our new world, build walls of glass and steel to keep the weather out. We seal our rooms. We silence the world. But the wind is patient. It waits. It waits for that quiet moment in the deep of the night when you are balanced between sleeping and waking. And it will find a crack, a gap, and it will breathe its ancient story into your room. Do not be afraid. They are not ghosts. They are memories. The memories of the earth. They are just scattered. The next time the wind rises, stand still. Close your eyes. Listen. Just listen. You are not alone. You are standing in the middle of a story that began long before you, and which the wind will carry long after you are gone.